Hello, everyone. I am sorry for the break in the transmission. I was having problem with the other gadgets, and so I have to switch over to this one now. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, just type loud and clear. Let me know you are with me. Okay? Once again, my name is Professor Samuel Stephenson, and I'm sure this face is no longer new in the TBC community because I have been broadcasting live to educate, motivate, and lift up the spirit of the community. I can say without any fear of contradiction that I'm one of the builders in the TBC community. Having said that, I want to apologize for my inability to broadcast regularly, especially in the last 2-3 weeks. And it's not deliberate. It was actually due to my commitment because of the project I was handling, which has to do with the registration of my company with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and then the platform of cash flowing that we have built to enable our members cash flow, because we have realized the challenge of cash flow in Africa and in Nigeria in particular. The economic meltdown we are experiencing has actually affected the response of our fellow citizens to the purchase of TBC. And we all know the character and the behavior of our people. It is very difficult to convince our people to buy into an idea that they cannot see immediate benefit. You know, Africans will reason differently. And for this reason, we have come up with a tripartite solution where members can cash flow, merchants will adopt, and then new members will flock into the TBC community. And by the grace of God, this 15th of December 2018, which is this Saturday to be precise, there is going to be a launch of my company called Samlizi Global Resources Limited, incorporated under the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this company will have much to do with the online activities that is connected to TBC and other alternative coins. As we speak, the community is bleeding from the activities of evildoers, the activities of scammers. But then, because of the eagerness of our members to exchange their coins for either the alternative coin, Bitcoin, or cash, these evildoers have taken advantage of our members by scamming them day in, day out. But the good news here is that the days of the evildoers and the scammers have come to an end, because my company is already filling a gap. We are coming on board to fill that gap. And that gap is that every member of TBC will be able to start cash flowing any moment from now. You see, our major challenge is that we don't actually understand the principle of cash flowing. From the African perspective, what we mean by cash flowing is that what I am doing now, I am getting money out of it in cash and I am reinvesting. So if I can get money from here and I will reinvest, and then somebody else by my side hears of what is happening, he or she would want to join and will want to have something to do with me. We are a people that are very, very rigid in our understanding. We are very difficult to convince, but once we are convinced, you can leave the rest of the battle for us. So, what this company is coming to do is to convince the black man that TBC is money. And then the job of bringing the 1 billion people into the TBC community will be left in the hands of the black man to handle. The 1 billion people we need, to my mind, I feel 70% of these people that are needed in the TBC community are in Africa and Asia. That is my own opinion anyway. And then we need to begin to reason, to enter into the reasoning faculty of these classes of people. And hence the need for this company coming on board that we're going to launch on the 15th of this month. I am sure all of us that are members of the TBC community within and outside Nigeria will be happy with what this company is coming to do. You know, in Nigeria today, the Central Bank of Nigeria is doing everything possible to discourage every citizen of Nigeria to participate in cryptocurrency adventure. Not TBC in particular, but everything that has to do with cryptocurrency, the Central Bank of Nigeria frowns at it. And one of the major issues the government is concerned about is the issue of tax evasion. So we have taken the initiative that if the government is afraid of tax evasion, we are not invading tax. The government will get our tax. And so after the registration of the company is already registered with the Federal Inland Revenue. That is, the tax would, and then we will now have the legal platform transaction without any fear of contradiction. So I want to use this opportunity to invite every, wherever you are, home and abroad, to join us on the 15th of this month live at AGY, Old Egume Road, Anyigba, Kogi State, Nigeria. I am inviting all of you, all the TBC stakeholders, far and near. It's no longer a hidden thing that TBC is now money. And the platform we are coming up with, which the web engineer will be here that day to educate us live how these operate. I am encouraging every member to be on ground so that you don't wait to be told. Sorry for that break in transmission. Saying here that as for the members of our community, a lot of scam in the purported exchanges of TBC to BTC and all that. I want to announce to you that God is raising somebody on the stage now to wipe away your tears. Now, many of the merchants around us who have been saying that if we accept TBC for the goods we have in our shops, how do we restock? Since the manufacturers are not accepting TBC from us. So how do we restock? It has been a great puzzle for them. But what this company has been able to do now is to provide a platform through which they will be able to exchange whatever they have collected from the TBC members for the goods in their stores to either BTC or Naira. I'm talking about our local currency in Nigeria, so that they will be able to restock. And by so doing, it will also encourage new members to flock into the system. Other merchants will see this and they will adopt TBC. The reason is because when members of TBC one particular shop, and then they will be passing every other shops within the locality, and they will be going to one shop. Once the other members or other merchants around start seeing that there is always a queue in one particular shop, they will ask, what is happening here? And then they will know that, whoa, this shop accepts TBC for payment of goods or service. And then they will want to know what TBC is all about. And as they know more about TBC, they will register for TBC, become members of TBC, accept TBC, and then the adoption of TBC as a means of payment or as a medium of exchange will become so pronounced and popular. And since we are in the distribution phase, it will help to fast-track the process, because even the merchant themselves will be promoting the TBC, because as made that TBC is money and is accepted, you don't need to preach to them long before they will come in. Knowing fully well who we are as Nigerians and especially as Africans, I am sure the moment we set this ball rolling on this platform, every merchant will rush in to accept TBC. And I want to assure you that in the next 6 months, the membership growth of TBC will double. There are some shops and merchants that were accepting TBC before now. Some accept 50%, some 70%, some 30%. But in recent time, all of them went low, or they went into hiding, not accepting TBC again. And this is actually coming from the utterances from some quarters, even from among our members. And the name calling of TBC has not helped us. But now, the good news is we, the stakeholders and the holders of this coin, who know what we have invested, our possibility to make it work. TBC is value in itself. So we need to understand that if we this is exactly what we are coming on board. Wait a minute. All those things has happened than many of you. Because as a leader, I try so many things to see the one that works so that I can pass it on to my followers. And so it's not everything that I suffer that my followers will suffer. The reason for this is that anyone that I try that it works, I'll pass it to them, and the one that failed, they won't suffer the same thing I've suffered again. But in summary, I want to say clean and clear here that Samlisi Global Resources Limited, this company has been registered with the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the sole aim of ending poverty. In other words, this company is coming as an interpreter of the TBC dream. You know, every dream has interpretation. So what we are coming on board to do is to interpret the dream of TBC. Therefore, I want to encourage every one of us that are within Nigeria to join us on this day as we celebrate the emancipation of humanity from poverty to abundance. We have suffered a lot. We have suffered a lot. But for every reproach, there is a day that it will end. For every reproach, there is a day that it will end. I want to tell you that your reproach has ended. Your reproach has ended. We are using the TBC coin as a tool of liberation for humanity. In other words, TBC is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. What I mean by this is that TBC has come to liberate humanity. So if one or two people or a few people are millionaires and billionaires in TBC, we cannot end poverty globally. But when all of us join hands together and we spread this good news of abundance and we bring in more people, then we will be able to end this poverty scourge with speed. People thought that Africa cannot survive on its own. It's not true. The resources that develop Europe and America are from Africa. But who knows, in these last days, that God is about to reverse the trend. So I am using this opportunity to invite more Africans, more Asians, to come into TBC. The reason why the Americans and the Europeans are not so much concerned about TBC is because they have enough for them. So those of us who are battling with this scourge called poverty, I think we should embrace it. You know, there is an adage in our language that says a man that goes to hunt for an elephant has two things in mind. If a poor man goes to hunt for an elephant, he has two things in mind. And what are those things? Number one, If he should kill the elephant, that will be the end of his poverty. And should the elephant kill him, then there is no poverty in the grave. I believe Africa and Asia have suffered enough that it is time for us to embrace TBC, adopt the abundance principle and concept of TBC so that we can end poverty once and for all. Then the good spirit of the black man will be transmitted. The hospitality nature, the hospitality spirit of the black man will be transmitted around the whole world. Africans, we are hospitable. Even in the midst of our poverty, we are still hospitable. How much more will we do when we get abundance? If in our scarcity we can still manifest hospitality, how much more will the world enjoy if Africa become prosperous? I am not limiting my call to Africa, but I am saying this is the group of people that will be able to lift the community very fast and speed. Okay? With high speed, the Africa will be able to carry on. So I want to see that in the next 6 months, let the figure of the TBC community double, and 70% of this from Africa. If you can give me this, then we will show to the whole world that Africa is capable. We can do it. Remember, right from Genesis to Revelation, anytime God has a very critical assignment to carry out in his dealing with humanity, he always brings an African man on the stage. Okay? David was stranded when his wife and children were carted away from Ziklag. But while he was pursuing, he asked God, should I pursue? God said, pursue. Should I overtake? He said, you will overtake. Should I recover? He said, you will recover and recover all. But at a point, he was frustrated, not knowing where to go, until he met a servant from Egypt, whose master is an Amalekite. And he asked him, they wanted to kill him. He said, don't kill him, feed him, and we'll ask him, he will give us good, intelligent report. They fed him. When his face came down, David asked him, who are you? He said, I am an Egyptian. Can you see? I am an Egyptian. My master is an Amalekite. We left our place in Amalek to a city of Judah called Ziklag. We destroyed that place 3 days ago and carted away all their belongings. And David said, will you lead me to the place where they are camping? And he said, on one condition, if you will not kill me. And David vowed to him that he will not kill him. And he led him to where they were camping. And so David smote them and recovered all. In other words, the prophecy to David about all will not be fulfilled without the African man intervention. An African is always being used by God. And I believe it's another time for the African to rise. Humanity is under severe pressure. It's under the verge of extinction by the activities of the elite, the evildoers. They are working hard towards extincting humans of the earth, especially the black race. Listen, I am not a racist. I am only speaking the reality of what I know. Therefore, it is time for us to arise. Remember, even when Jesus was born and Herod rose to kill him, he was taken to Africa. Africa is a place where God lives. Therefore, my brethren, I want to encourage you to step out now. Join me in this race. Why we bring on board our brethren, our brothers and sisters. Let's bring them on board. And let the story of Africa we know today change. Let the present developed world become the underdeveloped world. And let us, who are known as the developing country today, become the developed country. It is possible. And I'm sure TBC is the tool through which we'll be able to develop Africa and Asia. Africa will be developed through TBC. Many of you here listening to me already have enough TBC in your wallet that can build the face of New Africa. And so we need to encourage our brethren to come on board so that they will also see this as valuable commodity, valuable currency, a means of exchange, a valuable means of exchange, a valuable means of transaction. That is my point. So, from what I have said, I will want to pause here and let you know that what we've been waiting for is here. In my own projection, I believe the TBC admin has done 70% of his or her work in creating the coin and at the same time creating the system, the blockchain platform through which transaction can happen with the speed of light. The rest thing that is left now is for us to work hard in distributing this wealth to the rest of humanity. I don't think that is the job of admin. Distributing the wealth of TBC coin in the admin's wallet to the rest of humanity is no longer the job of the TBC admin. It's our individual responsibility to be able to carry out this one. And how are we going to do it? The platform to help us have a voice in our communities is here. We are launching this Saturday. I am encouraging you to join me as we give you the platform through which every member of TBC will smile. I have to smile because I am so excited in my spirit. I am so excited in my spirit. This is the time for every TBC holder to laugh. Your time of sorrow is over. Your season of reproach is over. I think we are in for a good news. And we can now see the membership of TBC swelling in no distant time. Therefore, please and please, do not give up. It's not yet over. We are almost at a crossroad where we will cross from our Egypt into our promised land. And when we get into our promised land, we will rescue entire humanity from the scourge of poverty, sickness, and disease. The assignment is achievable, but we need to be committed that everyone will do his or her own part. It's a job that everyone has a role to play. The game of the elite in caging entire humanity under the cage of poverty is about to come to an end. But you and I must be the one to carry this message of abundance to entire humanity. You have your own cycle of influence. I have my own cycle of influence. I have been doing a lot, influencing people within and around me and abroad. You should also do the same thing. I have said it over and over, and I will repeat again, that if 1/10 of the TBC member today should try to bring at least 2 persons into the TBC community in a month, TBC membership will surge. So why don't you make it a point of duty now and say, okay, before the end of 2018, we have less than 3 weeks, okay, to the end of 2018. Why don't you say to yourself, before the end of 2018, let me bring 2 people into the community? Just 2 people. Come to think of what it will be for 3 million members to bring in 2 people each into our community for the next 2 weeks. It will be a big boom. But then I discovered that many of us don't even have a kind of target. So if you don't have a target, I want to give you a target now. Then report to me and say, Prof, the target you gave, I work within and I achieve it. On the 31st of this month of December 2018, I want you to beat your chest and say, brought in at least 2 new members into the TBC community. It's a great achievement. If all of us should do that, then definitely the growth of our community will surge. I want to use this opportunity to thank you for joining me in this live broadcast. And I also want to thank the TBC admin for his foresight and allowing God to use him to create this platform, to create this coin that is capable of liberating humanity from poverty, sickness, and misery. One of us have a role to play. Admin has done his own. The rest of us have to rise up to the challenge now and bring other members on board. And then a time is coming, well, it may be prophetic. A time is coming that if you are not a TBCian, you'll be looked down upon. In fact, TBC is going to be a class that everyone, anywhere you introduce yourself as a TBCian, you will have 1 or 2 people that will give you a handshake. Let me tell you, globally, worldwide, I mean globally, TBC is going to be a community that everyone will be proud to be associated with. Take it, say a time is coming that everyone will be happy and proud to be associated with TBC. Announcing in an unknown place alone that you are a TBCian, okay? Telling people you are a TBCian, before you leave that place, you see 1 or 2 people to give. You say, this is a member of our community. That is lovely, man. So, once again, I say thank you, and I look forward to see live broadcast. I appreciate you all. God bless you.